Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do my March 2019 manga haul. I felt like sitting in front of the camera today, so this is how we're going to film it today. I'm going to start off with some of the used titles that I found at Goodwill. Not very many, just a few, and then we'll just go from there. So first off isn't a manga, but I was very excited to find it. This is Spy vs. Spy Missions of Madness. This is an old like political cartoon kind of thing. There's no dialogue or anything, but it's about these two different spies. And the reason I was so excited to find this is because I have the video game on the original Xbox that my brother and I used to play when we were kids, and it was one of the most fun games that we had, and it was based off of this comic that ran, I believe, in the 50s and 60s. It ran for a long time. I think it says like 26-year run. Yeah, 26 years this comic ran. Yeah, so I've never read any of it, and I'm excited to get into it. But I found this for a couple dollars at Goodwill and figured it was worth sharing. Next, I found what volume is this? 4 of Eureka 7. I don't own any more of Eureka 7. This is my first Bandai Entertainment manga. But it's illustrated by Jinsei Kataoka, who is the person who also did Dead Man Wonderland, the illustration for Dead Man Wonderland. So the art is amazing, and I have watched, I think, the first season of the anime. I don't remember how far I got, but anyway, I figured even if I never find the rest of this, I really love the art in this, and it's, worth having just in case one day I do manage to get my hands on the rest of it. I'd love to read it. And then I bought, also at Goodwill, I found 4 yaoi titles, all one-shots, which is excellent, which means I don't have to collect anymore. This is Restart. I think this is a story about a model or something. I haven't read this one yet, but the author, Shoko Hidaka, I do own another title by this person, so I recognize the artwork. It's quite, like, the characters look really good, and I'm excited to read this one. Out of the 4 that I got, this is the one I'm most excited to read. Then there's this one, Passionate Theory. This is by Ayumi Kano. I just read this today, actually. It was alright. But, I mean, I don't expect much from these one-shot yaoi titles that are older. Like, these are, I think, from like 2008 or something, that they were published in English. This is Invisible Love by Rie Honjo. This is another one I'm excited for just because I like the character designs in it. But yeah, I mean, I found them for like $3 each or whatever, and this is the one I'm least interested in. It's called From Up Above. It's got a bit of a supernatural aspect to it. This guy, I think, comes down and is his guardian or something, or he's reincarnated by, he's a normal high school boy, and he finds out he's reincarnated, and his old life was some historical figure or something. I don't really know. I kind of like the art in it, though, so I am a bit excited to read it for that, but I don't really care. I mean, I figured, honestly, if I resell them for $1 more than I paid for them at some point, then great. But I've really been wanting to get into more yaoi and stuff, because I have read a lot, and I do own quite a bit of it, but I wanted to kind of increase my collection of it, and try and find some hidden gems that, I never knew existed. So I figured, why not give them a try for a couple dollars. So that's everything I bought used in March. Now on to some new to me titles I've started this month. Speaking of yaoi, we got Candy Color Paradox, and this is by Isaku Natsume. This is about a journalist and a photographer, and they're paired up, and they have very different styles of working. I haven't read this yet, but I'm excited to. It is mature themed, so I'm sure this does have sex scenes in it. But I saw this one and I pre-ordered it because I was interested in it when I read the description of it, because it seems to have a pretty like interesting story. And there's the artwork. Yeah, there's another title by this author that is released in English. It's a 2-volume series. I don't remember what it's called, that I was actually going to buy at one point and I just didn't. But I figured I'll give this one a try because this premise sounds more interesting to me than the other series that this author has out in English. But yeah, I have more of those pre-ordered for the rest of the year, so hopefully it's good because I've already got the other ones ready to charge on my credit card. The next series I started, another one I'm super excited for, Hitori Jime My Hero, and this is by Memoko Ari. This is a series I watched the anime for. This is a Shonen Ai title, so again, it's boys love, but it isn't explicit. It just says older teens, but there wasn't any sexual explicitness in the anime. But this is basically about this kid here. He's kind of a delinquent. He fights a lot, but he has a friend who is really effeminate, and that I guess they've been friends their whole lives, or their childhood friends, and his friend's older brother is now a teacher at their school, and he has always kind of had a thing for / like looked up to the older brother. And so it's basically, I think if I remember correctly, the teacher is like an ex-delinquent as well. So it's just kind of hilarity ensuing and really cute romance, all the cute characters, like all the friend group is wonderful. I just remember really loving all the characters and everything. And this is Kodansha. So Kodansha is releasing some boys love titles, which is nice to see, and this is a nice matte finish in a large trim size format with a really pretty color page right in the front there. This is one that when I watched the anime for it, I was really hoping that we would get the manga over here. The art is so cute. I'm really excited to read this. And so I also have volume 2 as well. Of Hitori Jime My Hero, and again the back is really cute with all the other characters and stuff on it, and then a really cute color page there. So this is kind of an age gap romance, because he is like in his mid-20s, I think, and he's still in high school, and it's really sweet and cute. And if you like kind of shoujo-y stories, even though this one is centered around men, and most of the characters are male, it's so much fun and really cute. Hopefully the manga is just as good as the anime. I would assume that it is, but yeah. So then I got a couple Yoshihiro Tatsumi titles. This is Abandon the Old in Tokyo, and this is by Drawn and Quarterly, I think, is the publisher of this one. It is unfortunately flipped, so you are reading in the English direction. But the art is, just gotta make sure there's no explicitness. It's older. I think they're like post-war stories. Pretty dark. I haven't read these yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's a nice, really large trim size. Really nice book. And then I also got The Pushman and Other Stories, again a short story collection by Yoshihiro Tatsumi. And still, I think, like post-war kind of stories, very similar art style, obviously. Yeah, I'm excited to read them. These are ones that I've wanted for a while and just never bought, and now I finally had the opportunity to get them and jumped on it. Next, I got some Tarao Tsuge titles. Again, things I had my eye on for a long time and just never bought. This is Trash Market. Short story collection, again, self-contained. Drawn and Quarterly is the publisher of this one as well. Let's see if I can find. So the art is very interesting. Actually kind of similar to Yoshihiro Tatsumi. I don't remember when this one was written, but yeah, the art is very interesting, and I haven't read this one yet, but I am looking forward to it. A title that I have read, also by Tadao Tsuge, is Slum Wolf, and again, short story collection. This one is... what is the publisher's name? I don't... oh, New York Review Comics, I guess, is what this is. There's their logo there. This is a new release, quite thick, same art style as Trash Market, but I really enjoyed this. This is one that I was reading like a story or two before bed. They kind of interconnect, so it's short stories, but they are a bit interconnected. The characters kind of overlap a little bit. These aren't happy stories. They're not supposed to make you feel good. So if you're looking for something uplifting, this is not it. But if you're looking for something thought-provoking and different and interesting, and it is like an alternative manga, that's what this is. And I really am into alternative manga right now. And I've been trying to collect more of it and really dive into that kind of subgenre. But yeah, I really enjoyed Slum Wolf, which is why I'm so looking forward to Trash Market, because it obviously the same author, similar style, it seems. So looking forward to that. Another one that I've wanted for so long, long before it was released, is Dementia 21 by Shintaro Kago, I believe. Just there's Kago on there, but I'm pretty sure it's Shintaro Kago. Yep. This is Fantagraphics Books. This is not hardcover. It is a soft cover, but it is very well put together. It looks like it is, it's like a bound. It's not glued. At least it doesn't look like it is. Very, very well put together book. Yeah, that's not explicit. We can show that. The art is quite busy. So he does, I think, like erotic gore stuff usually, but apparently this one is more like much more tame than his usual works. This is the only one of his that I have. I think there's some other that are translated into English, but to get them in Canada, you would have to import them, I think, from the States, because the publishers of, I think it's like Super Dimensional Love Gun or something is the name of it. The publisher of that doesn't sell in Canada, so I don't have that, but I would like it. But anyway, this is, I think, a girl works in a home with patients with dementia or something, and it's just different ridiculous stories of her patients. I could be wrong. I haven't started it yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it for sure. And the back cover looks like that, and it's like, I don't know if you could hear that, but it's got a texture to it, and I really like it. Next, I will go for the stuff that I've just been, continued collecting. So I got I Am a Hero Omnibus Volume 9. I just read this today, actually really enjoyed it. I believe there are only 2 more, because I think there's 22 volumes in Japan, which 2-in-1 omnibuses would lead to 11 omnibuses. I'm excited for this series to finish, so that I can go back and reread it. It's a very fast read because there's not too much dialogue. There's a lot of like large spread pages and stuff like that, but still very good. It's going in an interesting direction. I really want to know what happens at this point. So next, continuing along with the series that I bought the first volume of used, like when I started this channel, I guess a couple years ago now maybe, my cousin was selling some of her old yaoi stuff, and I bought volume 1 of Blue Morning. So now, finally, years later, this is Shoko Hidaka, the one who did the one-shot yaoi that I just showed you earlier. I owned volume 1, I read it, I enjoyed it, and now I decided to pick up the rest of it that is currently out. It's an ongoing series about this kid here who is an heir to a really rich family. I think the parents are dead, and left the butler in charge of kind of raising him and making sure he stays on the right path. it's a yaoi. Of course, he kind of falls for the butler, and the butler's like, I can't be with you, but of course they end up together. But what I really appreciated, and I probably won't be able to find some now that I'm like mentioning it, that's okay, is some of the backgrounds and stuff, because everything, like, it's a really rich family. A lot of everything is pretty ornate in some parts, and I just really appreciated that, and I like that style. So this is volume 2. Then we jump to volume 5, volume 6 with a really pretty cover there, and volume 7, which is the most current release. I did order all of them, just not all of them came in March, so I'm waiting for the rest of them to show up. And then volume 8, I believe, releases in, like, I want to say October, but I could be making that up. Sometime later this year, volume 8 is released, but I figured the first 7 is decent enough at this point. Then, continuing on with Bungo Stray Dogs, this is volume 8. Series I really enjoy about kind of, it's a detective agency, but everybody has kind of a supernatural power kind of thing, and all the characters are named off of famous authors, and not just Japanese authors, but just authors from around the world, of all different time periods. And it's fun because the characters kind of take on the personality of like the author's most known works and stuff, and just kind of base the personalities off of those character traits. It's very funny. You get like ridiculous faces like this, but really cool, clean art with really slick fight scenes and stuff. It's just a lot of fun. Very good comedic relief, but also good fight scenes and a really interesting premise and story. Then volume 12 of Devil's Line. If I remember correctly, volume 13 is the final volume, which will be coming out in a couple months. So we're almost done with Devil's Line at this point. And this is a really good romance, action, vampire-esque. They call them devils, but they're like vampires, basically. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have really enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and I'm excited to get the last volume when it comes out so that I can finish up the series. Next is My Boy, volume 3. Haven't read this volume yet, but this is a story about this woman here who has met this young boy, and she kind of is just feeling attached to him. She's single, doesn't have kids or anything, and this kid is clearly being neglected by his family in a tough situation at home, and she is feeling kind of responsible for like trying to take care of him and instill some, confidence and things into him. But it's really sweet and cute so far. It hasn't gotten creepy, but you never know where things will go with that. And then next I picked up volume 1 and 3 of Shortcake Cake. I picked up volume 2 last month, I think it was, because it was on for really cheap, and then I finally got these two so I could read it. I've read volume 1 and 2 now. I will be making a video about this probably after I read volume 3, but really enjoying it. Pretty interesting and fun new shoujo title put out by Shoujo Beat, and really cute. The art is in my opinion really, like, the characters are just gorgeous. Male and female, all of them are gorgeous. I really appreciate that. It looks so much fun, and the story is quite cute about a what's the word? A dorm house. They're high school students. They're living in a dorm boarding house, and with mixed genders living in the same house. Of course, there's going to be shenanigans ensuing, but it's really cute so far. Next up, volume 2 of Escape Journey. Haven't read this one yet. I'm really hesitant to because I had an issue with the first volume, but I am excited to read it and see where these characters are going, because I believe there's a time skip in between the first volume and this one. Third volume will be out soon, I believe, a couple months from now maybe, but that'll complete the series with 3 volumes. Yeah, but this is a sublime title, and I'll probably read it soon. I do like that it is older, like they're college students, and there's no age gap there, like they're the same age, which is always nice because it's kind of different from the typical yaoi story. But yes, then really wonderful LGBT title. If you're looking for something that is not just fan service or ridiculousness in an LGBT title, that Blue Sky Feeling is where it's at. This is such a cute boys love shonen ai title about these high school boys. This boy here is gay, and this boy is new in town and is befriended the gay character and is kind of opening up his world. And you can assume that he starts to kind of like him but doesn't know what those feelings mean, and it's discovering your identity and learning to accept other people's identities, and just keeping an open mind, and just discovering yourself. And it's really cute, and I have made a first impressions video of the first volume, but I just they're so cute. They're really cute. I love this. I cannot wait for volume 3. I don't know how long the series is going to be, so but I think I have volume 3 pre-ordered already. Next, I have the third omnibus of After the Rain. These are 2-in-1s. They're quite thin though, so I guess the original volumes were pretty thin. But this is, I have done a video on this series as well. I would recommend going and checking that out if you want to know more about it. But another great volume. This is another age gap kind of romance-ish slice of life title, but I really love it, and I also really love the color pages. But this I think is a seinen title, so I think it's technically the demographic is men, and she is pretty sexualized just in the way she's drawn, so that doesn't surprise me that it's written for men. However, I as a shoujo lover, I really love this title. I love slice of life as well, so this is something that I really love. Next, volume 7 of Silver Spoon. I have not read this one yet, but I had it pre-ordered, I guess, because it showed up. So another great title. I really love it. I just have to be in the mood to read it because there is quite a bit of text in it, and it is a very particular story, and I have to be ready for an information heavy kind of story because it does go into a lot of farming details. It's lighthearted and funny, but it is very dense in some aspects, so I just haven't been in the mood to read it lately. And then I got volumes 4 and 5 of Tokyo Terroriba Girls. This is going to be 9 volumes long. I have all of it pre-ordered at this point, so I will have this finished within the next few months when the rest of them come out. This is by the same author as Princess Jellyfish. So far, I like this better than Princess Jellyfish. I haven't finished Princess Jellyfish. I obviously haven't finished this series, but so far, I like this better. I have also made a video, a first impressions video about this as well, I believe. So I would suggest checking that out if you want some more information about this. But footnote version, these women are close to 30 or in their 30s, I think already, and they aren't married or anything, and they're kind of feeling down on themselves at this point, so they've kind of set a goal of being married by the time the Tokyo Olympics come in 2020. So yeah, it's hilarious. Shenanigans ensue. The main character meets this young model guy who's kind of arrogant and rude, but wonderful. Yeah, it's very funny. And then, speaking of Akiko Higashimura, I got volume 8 of Princess Jellyfish, or Omnibus 8. These are so, they're not that expensive when you consider that they're omnibuses, but for some reason I just have been lazy and not wanting to pick this up. But here's volume 8, so just one more to go at this point. I think I'm only on volume 3, so yeah. And then some series that I completed this month. I was recently rereading Monkey High, so I wanted to collect the rest of it. This is a wonderful shoujo, 8 volumes long, so that's volume 5, 6, Love this cover. 7 and 8. And this is a fun shoujo about this girl whose father is a political figure, prominent political figure, who ends up, I think he's in jail, but he ends up in some kind of scam, and kind of is taken off his pedestal. So she is moved from her prestigious school to this random high school and meets this boy who's kind of dorky and looks like a monkey, hence Monkey High. Starts dating him, and is in with their friend group and whatever, and it's just kind of her trying to come out of her shell, and him being this dorky dude that everyone's like, she's way too good for you. But it's a good comedy. It kind of reminds me of Lovely Complex in some aspects. Like the comedy and the romance is similar enough with the funny faces and things like that, but this one's a bit more serious. And I do remember it having sexual themes later in the closer to the end of the series, not explicit, but just that it is a realistic high school relationship rather than a sweet fluffy shoujo-y kind of relationship. It does, if I remember correctly, I haven't finished rereading the series at this point. It's been like, I think it was 2010 or something that I read this originally, so like 9 years ago. Might have been before that, might have been like 2009, but anyway, yeah, it's I remember there being sexual themes in that one, so if you're looking for something a bit more realistic, that's a good one to go with. Next, Moteki Love Strikes, Omnibus Volume 2. This is Mitsuru Kubo. I did finish reading this. I will be making a video on my thoughts on this series. Yeah, a lot of people have talked about this already, but I will be making a video with giving my thoughts on how I feel about Moteki. So look forward to that. And so that one's complete as well in 2 omnibus volumes. And then I also got the rest of what I needed of Welcome to the Ballroom. So this is volume 5, and you can tell from the title it is a ballroom dancing manga. This is volume 6, and I believe this is on hiatus, and I think that 9 volumes is all we have, like even Japan has, if I remember correctly. So this is volume 9, so technically I'm considering this that like I have it completed at this point, because as far as I know there's no word of it coming back anytime soon. Hopefully it does. I've enjoyed what I've read of it so far, but yeah, I'm considering this as like I've completed it, I've caught up to it, and hopefully in the future we get more, but if not, then I have everything that's out at least. So that's everything. I have no idea how many volumes this is. I didn't count, but that was my haul, and I probably will have a decent sized haul in April as well. And then I've made pretty much most of my pre-orders for the rest of the entire year. So I'll have stuff trickling in throughout the rest of the year, but I think April I have another chunk of books coming. So yeah, if you are interested in any of these titles, let me know. If you've read any of them, I want to hear your thoughts on them. And like I said, a lot of these I will be making videos about soon, so look out for those, and thank you for watching. See ya.